practice of breath work that I developed. I just pulled together a bunch of different types of breath work practices, and I pulled out the easiest bits because if it wasn't easy, I wouldn't do it. And so it's easy. You can, I don't, whichever way you want to do it is great. I'm just going to throw out the way that I do it because it's the way I do it. I don't ask other people to do things I haven't done myself. This is something I do all the time. Most important thing is this diaphragmatic release, which means that what's happening right there, I'm not sucking in my stomach. I'm actually releasing the diaphragm, which is a muscle that's right here. And as it drops down, these guts have to go somewhere, so they come out, right? That's the diaphragmatic release. And so the rules that I use are, I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. I count when I breathe in and I count when I breathe out. I make sure the number is the same. I keep my back free. I don't use, I mean, you can sit on the floor, you can sit wherever you want to, but the basic idea is that there's nothing behind your back. You can see that I'm in a stool. This is my keyboard playing stool. And most important thing is practice. Taught a lot of people about these ideas, and the folks who come back to me and say it's not helping, I ask them one question. What do I ask them? I've said this before. Are you practicing? They say no. And practice means the same thing it means when you're practicing the piano or the guitar or whatever instrument you happen to be practicing, or sport or game or whatever it happens to be. Practice is what you do when you're not playing. Practice is what you do when you're not performing. Practice is what you do so that you get comfortable and familiar with the thing that you're trying to get good at. And so practicing breath work is something I do twice a day, first thing, last thing, every day. Doesn't matter. I mean, that's just how I do it. I do it because I don't forget. It's easy. Oh, I just woke up. What's the first thing I do? First things first. I love that idea. We'll talk about that some other time. But yeah. And so so practice is very important. And all the breathing, the in through the nose, out the mouth, there's neurological basis for all that stuff. If you want to go to earlier videos, you can check that out. You can also send me a request and a direct message, and I will send you a copy of my book that just lays it all out so that you don't have to write it down. It's already written down. I already wrote it down once. If you want to just read it, and you don't have to write it down again. And also I want to throw out a little idea for you to ponder in the context of this back to basics thing. It links to something that I talked about early on in the midst of all this corona stuff. What I threw out was this notion of who do I want to, looking back on this, who do I want to have been? And the idea being that for that, what that does for me is it makes me go, oh, okay, so there's choices that I can make that are going to ultimately be the description of how I describe who I was during this time. And I'm literally building that right now. And it's recently occurred to me that one of the primary things that I want to make sure I am is somebody who's not participating in hate. And reason why that's so important to me is because my most important teacher is the planet Earth. The planet Earth, from best estimates I'm aware of right now, is between 1 and 4 billion years old. And it's been doing a way of living that has nothing to do with hate for that long. It's been working out pretty well. One of the things that I did today was I went out and harvested my butternut squash. Now, I planted less than 20 seeds, maybe less than 15 seeds. Don't remember exactly. It's not the kind of thing I do. I'm not that precise. I just kind of go around and plant stuff. And I've got right now harvested, not done harvesting them. I've got at least 100, maybe more than that. I've got way more butternut squash than I could possibly ever use because that's what the earth does. So, and each one of those butternut squashes is going to produce more seeds than I planted to produce all those butternut squashes. That's how the earth works. That's nothing to do with hate. And we can talk about what that means in terms of love at some point, maybe, maybe not. But my point is that if I'm going to emulate the success of this amazing thing that we call Earth, hate has nothing to do with it. And a friend of mine, a teacher of mine talked about, another teacher, a person, dude, Michael White, taught me about personal acts of refusal. I can refuse to participate in hate. Another friend of mine talks about non-cooperation. I can refuse to cooperate. I can take up a position of non-cooperation in relation to hate. However you want to think about it, but it's what I'm doing. Refusing, non-cooperating with invitations to hate. And my hope is that I get through this whole process in that position and can look back and go, I refuse to hate regardless of what happens, regardless of what happens. That's what I'm going to do. Well, it's what I'm doing today. That's another thing Michael talked about is I had this idea of saying, how is it that you've been able to do this up till now? Because when I said, that's what I'm going to do, I don't know what I'm going to do. All I know is what I'm doing right now and what I've done up till now. So far, so good as far as the hate thing goes. And hate and anger aren't the same thing, by the way. Anger's different. I don't have a problem being angry. There is a thing about my own anger and my own practices around anger that when I find myself in that angry place, ponder it for a bit and realize that it's generally linked to wanting things to be other than they are. So that's not something that I want to be down with. Something might happen that might cause me to be angry, and then I want to be thinking about why that is. Then I think about how I want things to be other than they are. Then I think about how I want things to be. And I go, oh, so that's some useful information right there. That's a trajectory that I'm interested in, and this anger thing is a result of not being in that space. All right, so then what can I do? What choices can I make to bring myself more back in line with whatever that trajectory happens to be? But so I don't want anger to be a part of my life for an extended period of time, because all it's doing is sucking my energy and making me feel tired and exhausted, and it's not helping me or anybody else. So yeah, anger's a temporary thing. It's okay. And I don't mean to disrespect anybody that's feeling whatever they're feeling, but me personally, I want to refuse any invitations to take up a position of hate. I want to not cooperate in any invitations to take up a position of hate. And so back to basics Sunday. For me, that's actually pretty basic. Start with that. No hate. Start with that. Not going to cooperate with hate. Go from there. See what happens. And do the whole thing in the context of this breath work that I've just explained to you. Once again, if you want more elaborate descriptions or different ones, go back over the Back to Basic Sundays that exist in the archive on YouTube. You can peruse. But that's it for today. Hope everybody's having a great day. It's really something here in the northeastern United States, and it's a little cooler than it was yesterday, but it's gorgeous, and the leaves are turning, and I hope there's something going on where you are that gives you some joy. And if not today, maybe tomorrow, because there's going to be a tomorrow, hopefully. If I get in touch with my friend in Zimbabwe, Linos, he's already in tomorrow, so maybe we should try to get in touch with him and find out if it's actually going to happen, because he already knows the answer to that question. Linos, if you're watching, thinking about you, man. I actually really am. Have a great day. I will be back tomorrow to do something else.